Yo, what's good, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a simple term that people often use, which is a guitar lick. So a guitar lick is essentially, if you're wondering what like the difference is between a lick and a riff, it's like a guitar lick is essentially like a passage of notes. It's like a series of notes, or maybe even just one note. It's like a stylistic series of notes. It's like meant mostly for like a bit of style, but it doesn't have like it doesn't have a particular theme, and it can be used in a number of different musical contexts without being associated with any song over another. So by that I mean, like if you think of a riff is different because a riff, whenever you play a riff, like you're immediately calling attention to a song that's already been written. You know what I'm saying? So like if you think of like the classic riff from Smoke on the Water, that's a riff where the moment you play that, everybody on earth knows that, like, oh, that's Smoke on the Water from Deep Purple. Like you're calling back to that song. Like you can't play that riff without calling back to that song. Well, a lick is different because in a lick with a lick, you can play a guitar lick and you can play it like different players can play the same lick in different songs, but like no one really associates it with that song. You know what I mean? It's just kind of it's just like a series of notes that it's not complete. It's an incomplete musical phrase. So I'm actually going to walk through a couple of different examples to really talk to show what I'm talking about. So as I just mentioned, like you got like the classic riff from Deep Purple. I would just play the songs for you, but then I would get a copyright strike. So I'm gonna have to like actually just show you on the guitar. I don't know if you can see that right now, but by the way, I have a ScreenFlow editor on right now, so there's a mad latency. So it's very difficult to play, but I hope you get what I'm trying to do. So that's a riff, man. That's a complete phrase. It's a complete musical idea, and you can't play that without calling back to that song from Deep Purple. Now, there's some examples of like licks where, like, for example, like check out this lick. Like this is a classic blues lick. Now, people have played this like a million times in a million different songs. It's been played so many different times. But when you see that, you don't think, "Oh, that's like the lick from such and such a song." Like you don't think that. It's just a series of notes. It's not a complete musical idea. And because of that fact, it's like you don't associate it with any particular song, right? Because it's just a lick. It's just like something that people play. So like it kind of sounds like, like. And another thing that people do is they like you'll do play that riff and then you do like a series of bends. So that's a lick, man. You've probably heard that a million times in your life, and that's what makes it a lick. It's like it's not really associated with any particular song. And I use another example. Like here's a really common lick that it's in the song "Man in the Box" from Alice in Chains. So there's like a section of the song where after he does like the wah pedal thing, where he does that with the wah pedal with a lot of distortion, and then he's like. Something like that. But anyway, he does it with a lot more distortion and stuff. But he does something like that, and then like that's been done so many times that you don't associate that. Like when you hear that riff, you don't think like, oh, that's from Man in the Box. It's just because it's been done so many times. You know, like. Anyway, I also use some examples from Metallica. Like this is from Hit the Lights, I believe, and like he does this thing where he's like people do that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like people do that a lot in their songs, and it's like you don't really associate that with any particular song because it's been done so many times in so many different songs. Just a common lick that blues players and rock players and metal players do, you know? Like what everything I just played there, it's like that's just all a series of licks that are just kind of associated with blues and rock, and you know, everything I did there has been done so many times, and he does the same thing. He does that all over the album, Kill 'Em All. Like he does that all over the album. Like he does it so much. Just a really common blues tactic, you know. But anyway, that's kind of what a lick is. Like a lick is just like a stylized series of notes, and it's usually related or relevant to a specific subgenre of music. Like so there's like a defined range. Like truthfully, like every guitar player or every musician, like they're playing within like an accepted range of I had a really good way of explaining it here, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, so like every player or every musician, they're kind of like playing within an accepted range within a genre where there's like licks that are repeated and kind of they're all the same. But like what makes players different from each other is just like there's like these minute differences that make them different from other players at the end of the day, you know? And that's kind of, I don't know, that's where kind of like what licks are. You know, they're just kind of like something that it's repeated in a certain genre. And even in my article here on Traveling Guitarists, like I talked about how this phenomenon, it's almost like the same thing as that you can see in hip hop. Although it's not the same thing because it's not a guitar lick, but it's a similar principle in the sense that like people will repeat a musical style or a way of expressing oneself without, and it's not really considered plagiarism, you know. And one example of that is like the triplet flow, you know. So everyone does the triplet flow now. I can't imitate it, but it's when you rap the notes of the song in triplet format, and like every rapper is doing that now. Like even Eminem, like he mocked it in that one song, The Ringer. I would show it to you, but then I get the copyright strike. But like he mocks the song, like he calls it the choppy flow or whatever he calls it. But I recommend checking it out. But that's kind of like a lick in the same way. You know, it's the same principle. It's like an expression of or a style. It's an expression where like it's not really associated with one particular song or over the other. It's just kind of like a way of doing things, you know. But anyway, I hope you understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's it for this video. You know, I hope you learned something from it, and you know, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.